Yeet. Keep. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for another Modern Quick Match. Now nothing fancy here, just what the title says, and November is going to be packed with Death Shadow matches to hold you over until the next deep dive analysis comes out. Then it'll be a month for another deck. I'll start off with a quick deck tech, which is the same one from the last Modern Matchup analysis video. So if you've already seen it, or you just want to get right to the gameplay, I have included a timestamp in the description below. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, as it's a free way to support the channel. Based on metagame data, this is what the typical Death Shadow build looks like in today's world. When seeing these cards, it's important to remember that the deck does not want the game to go long, and it wants to do everything as efficiently as possible in the first few turns. Low CMCs, hyper efficiency is the name of the game here. Let's start with the namesake card Death Shadow. This deck is all about using your life total as a resource in exchange for being able to play the most power per mana spent in the format. And Shadow is the epitome of this. 1 mana for a creature that starts small and grows as the game goes on. It's not uncommon for this to be a 1 mana 10/10 after a few turns. Usually we go over the mana base last, but this deck utilizes fetch lands and shocks more aggressively than any other deck in the format, and it's a large part of the strategy. The idea is to use whatever resource possible, including lands, to get our life total under 13 to land a Shadow. We're looking at 10 fetches and 5 shocks, with a couple of basics as a necessity against Pass and Field of Ruins. In many ways, this deck mirrors traditional Jund strategies, that is, a turn 1 discard spell to make the opponent stumble, followed by a turn 2 or 3 landed threat that grows with the game and will just be bigger than theirs, and then use hyper efficient answers the rest of the way. That turn 1 discard spell of choice here is Thoughtseize, as it helps grow the Shadow and is the best discard spell in the format. Add in a couple of Inquisitions, and hitting a turn 1 discard spell is fairly consistent. Street Wraiths, Mishra Baubles, and Thought Scours provide us with more consistency through cantripping, with the Wraith doing double duty at helping out our Shadow grow. Thought Scour also has an important function in filling our graveyard because the only other real threat in the deck outside of Death Shadow is Gurmag Angler. Big Zombie Fish is a remarkable case study in just how powerful the delve mechanic is. Note to Wizards, if you print an otherwise vanilla 5/5 at common and it sees play in one of the most powerful formats in all of Magic, it's probably a sign that the mechanic on it is way too strong. This big guy does a great Shadow impression, often only costing a single black mana by himself. The truth of Modern is that a 5/5 is often just bigger than anything else the format is doing, which is why Tasigur, the Golden Fang, who used to be included in the deck, doesn't even see play anymore at 1 less power and even 1 less card to delve. So, once our threat is landed, the game plan is to interact a lot. Stubborn Denial becomes one of the best counters in the format with a threat down. Hitting creatures isn't often relevant because our landed threat is usually bigger and badder than whatever they're doing in the first 4 turns of the game. There are exceptions of course, but this becomes one of the best cards in the deck when turned on. Fatal Push, Dismembers, and a Bolt are the best at what they do for a single mana. Dismember also helps our Shadow game plan, and with Snapcasters in the mix, the fact that this deck doesn't want to go much above 3 mana in play, 1 mana removal is where we want to be. Cullen's Command is a great catch-all against problematic cards like Ensnaring Bridge and otherwise obscene artifacts in the format, and can also get our threats back in our hand, which is important because we essentially only run 8 real threats. We round out the main board with the big finisher, Temur Battle Rage. I'd argue that this is the card most opponents of Shadow decks are most afraid of. It always has to be accounted for because it is often just a one-shot that will end the game on the spot, doubling damage and trampling over any small early game blockers. So, to the sideboard, Rejections fit in nicely as we like 1 mana answers, and this hits a variety of problems in the format like Tron, Eldrazi, Ensnaring Bridges, etc. Our Braids provide more artifact answers as well as small creature removal. Spell Snare is just great in this meta as pretty much every deck has some amount of important 2-drops. Alpine Moon, costing 1 mana, is a big deal, and it hits against Tron and Valakut decks, with also some fringe other uses. An extra K command is great against artifact decks. Lily of the Last Hope is fantastic at mowing down go-wide strategies, as chump blocking decks are actually fairly effective against us. Collective Brutality is just a burn all-star, and it's especially necessary since that matchup is one of the trickiest tightropes to walk in all of Modern. Disdainful Stroke is needed against big mana decks that are trying to do bigger and meaner things than us. Plague Engineer is one of my favorite cards from Modern Horizons, and I love that decks like this are utilizing it so much. It's a house against tribal strategies, and it's huge game against Thopter Foundry decks as well. Again, token decks can be very problematic for this deck. Finish it off with Seasoned Pyromancer. It's been getting some love as it gives us some extra game against control decks in particular. Alright, hello everyone. We are here playing some Grixis Death Shadow. And this hand, Stubborn Denial Tron, it's not awful. Now there are some matchups where this actually works really well. I hate not having discard spell, I hate not having creature removal. If we're just against a creature deck, we probably just lose if it has any kind of speed, but maybe we'll keep it. For science, we're keeping it. Opponent mulligans 6. Well, we will start with a Bloodstained Mire and pass the turn. Mountain. Foundry Street Denizen. Well, here's the nightmare. Okay, so I think we just lose game 1 here against goblins. So no need to hurt ourselves any further here. So we are just going to get a Blood Crypt in tapped. Now we need removal, and lots of it. So I think the play here is that's actually a very good draw off the top. I don't think there's any 2-drop they play that's not a creature. So we're just going to play our Watery Grave in tapped and hopefully bolt something scary here. Probably Foundry Street Denizen. Burning Tree. Okay, so here comes the Bushwhacker start. We are going to take a good hit here, but I think we are going to be able to at least deal with this Foundry Street, which is going to save us 3 points of damage. All right, Bushwhacked. Yeah, this is not the matchup to keep 3 Stubborn Denials against. Save 4 points of damage. Well, they will get in. Deal 5. Bolt the Foundry Street. Okay. Down to 3 cards in hand. Thoughtseize isn't bad. We still can't play a Angler. So I think what we need to do is rip off this Thoughtseize, as painful as it is, and then hope to hit another Bushwhacker. Oh, all the Bushwhackers. Okay. Well, the good thing is we can deal with this Devastating Summons. Or maybe not. Maybe we should have left 2 untapped blue there. They're still probably just going to Bushwhacker anyway, though. Oh, we'll take a Bushwhacker. Devastating Summons and Bushwhacker. Okay, Bushwhacker kicked. In for a million. Yeah, down to 4. And that'll do it. Well, good game. Good luck game 2 against the Bushwhackers. So all of the removal in, Spell Snare in, and Liliana's probably... Ooh, I think we're going to get our Plague Engineers in for the goblins. Yeah, Engineers in. We'll go down all the removal that hurts. Maybe just bring in Liliana also and go down Baubles. I'll try that. I think Engineers just auto win in this game. Okay, this is a great hand. Double removal or double discard into a Death Shadow. It is going to be painful, but we are going to do it. At least it's not 2 Thoughtseizes. Bolt, 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 Legion Loyalist, Goblin Grenade. So I think the plan here is to take one of the Loyalists, or maybe we just let them have Loyalists and then go take the Bolt and the Grenade, because Loyalist doesn't pump anybody, which is good. Let's do that. Let's take the stuff that can go straight to the face, because once Shadow's down, then we're okay. Mountain. Loyalist. Getting in for 1. Okay, no need to rush anything now. So we'll go Thoughtseize, light up the stage. So just keep them off cards with light up the stage. I think the Grenade is the scariest thing still. So we'll let them have their light up the stage. It might backfire. But we'll play a Blood Crypt tapped and pass the turn. Mountain. Foundry Street. Okay. Loyalist. Alright, now comes the light up the stage. It's a Bushwhacker and a Ruins. Those are actually both pretty bad. Okay, so the question is, do we just shock ourselves to 11 and then let them have the Bushwhacker? So it's going to be a big Bushwhacker turn because it's Loyalist plus Bushwhacker. So they're going to deal... Foundry Street will be a 2, 3, 4, 1. So that would actually kill a Death Shadow, and we'd be able to block the Bushwhacker. And then Battle Rage. I think that's our really only option here. So I think we're going to do that. Bloodstained Mire Crack. Get a Watery Grave. Play a Shadow. Pass the turn. Legion Loyalist. Yeah. Bushwhacker. Yeah. So they can deal 2, 4, 6, 10. Perfect. And then we win next turn. 2, 4, 6, 10. Yeah. Okay, we're good with that. Down to 1. And then we pass, or we attack with a big old Death Shadow. Getting in with the Battle Rage. And that's a one-shot kill from the Death Shadow. Wow, that was close. Well, that worked out perfectly. Okay, so I think we made the right calls there, taking the burn spells. Alright, now being on the draw is pretty rough, but We will do what we can. So we need to keep a hand that is very removal heavy, ideally. Ooh, is Plague Engineer just going to be too slow? I guess the thought is now we just, the Snapcasters can block for a couple turns. I think we keep it. I think Engineer is just too good. And especially if they can land a few first, then Engineer becomes just insane. All right, there's a Loyalist. Getting in. Blood Crypt. Let's get a Watery Grave in. Tapped and pass the turn. Not going to give them any free points. Ramunap Ruins. Okay, that is as good as a Bushwhacker gets for us. And now they have to play 2 really good goblins next turn for this to really do us any damage. So Blood Crypt in. And now we've got a Stubborn Annihilate also if they have any shenanigans. Bomat Courier. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so this is going to hit 3 goblins next turn, and they're down to 2 cards in hand. Okay. We're only at 11. That's not terrible. So now we do the thing. This is going to be a very good... The Bomat Courier is still doing something. Swamp Plague Engineer on Goblin. The good news for us is that they did not get off to their best start. Okay. Wow, they scoop it up. Plague Engineer just winning games all by himself. Good game opponent.